Got more Croatians in there.
Welcome to Deakin Stadium and Westfield FFA Cup semi-final action. It's Canberra FC against Belconnen United here in Canberra. Qualifiers time. I'm Russ Gibbs, your commentator for this evening. Next to me is Dean Ugrinic. Dean, looking forward to this one.
They're always magical games against Belconnen and Canberra FC, Russ, on a midweek night.
And it's not so cold as we thought it was going to be here at Deakin Stadium, is it? It's actually okay.
Sensational weather tonight. Surprisingly.
On the weekend at McKellar, it was absolutely freezing. But the football warmed us up. Before we get into this one, congratulations on your appointment as Canberra United youth team coach for the season, the academy coach. And how's that going for you so far?
To be honest with you, look, thank you very much, first of all. It's really been sort of, I suppose, looking at who's eligible, finding out all of those rules that are around that, around those players who are eligible for the NYL, watching a lot of football games, trying to find out, who we're going to get to help me out in hopefully getting a competitive squad out on the park.
For those of you that don't know, they might be watching, Dean was head coach of this Belconnen United team last year when they won the grand final, and your son's in the side, but you promised us this evening you won't be wearing too much of a blue hat.
I definitely try to be unbiased.
Both these sides have had enjoyed decent cup runs so far. Looking at Belconnen United first, they beat UC Pumas 5-0, and then they had that incredible quarter-final match against O'Connor Knights, winning 8-5, which is some match here. McKellar, rather.
Yeah, I was there that night. Extraordinary. Great effort by O'Connor Knights, to be honest with you, to get as close as they did.
Canberra FC, for their part, they had a struggle here against ANU FC in their first match, winning 4-2 after extra time. Couple of late goals there, Ryan Keir and Ivan Pavlak. And then they had Canberra Olympic, and again a couple of late goals. Thomas James, with both of those in the quarterfinals to get them through. He's got 11 goals across the FFA Cup and the league this season. Is he the key man for you this evening?
100%, Russ. He's just a standout player of the league so far this year.
Looking at the game on Tuesday, the FFA Cup semi-final there, Gungahlin United 4, Woden Western 3. So an absolute cracker there after extra time. Gungahlin making their way into next week's FFA Cup final. And Marcel Munoz will be very pleased with the way his team's come back from a sticky start to the season.
Look, I think Marcel has his boys well marshalled, and that was evident on Tuesday night. I was there, I watched that game, and to be honest with you, Gungahlin were worthy winners.
What was it about that team on Tuesday that made them worthy winners? Was it their style of football? Was it the players they had? Because Woden have had a very enjoyable season from their point of view.
They're probably one of the most improved sides in the league, but I think Gungahlin just had, they've got a little bit of finesse about them. They're very well organised, they're very well structured, and I thought, over the balance of that particular game, they were certainly the better team on the night.
Looking ahead to this one, once the teams are ready to come out in just a moment. You look at the league ladder, Canberra FC, 7 games, 19 points, plus 20 goal difference. They've won every match they played this year except for Sunday's 2-2 draw with Tuggeranong. Belconnen down in 4th with 10 points from 8 games, minus 7 goal difference. They met at McKellar. Canberra FC won 5-0. All right, there was mitigating circumstances there. Balach was sent off. You look at it, at those form and those facts, and you think there can only be one winner. But cup football's a funny thing, isn't it?
It'll always throw up a surprise. You get some teams here under lights. It's a balmy evening. Anything can happen in cup football.
It's great, isn't it? Cup football, midweek football, under floodlights. There's not much to beat it.
Look, last year I had the unfortunate experience of losing to Monero in a quarter-final, and we were certainly tipped at favourites to beat them that night.
So that it can happen, of course. Before we get into this game, we're still waiting for the teams, as you can see. This weekend, there's Premier League football. On Saturday, Tuggeranong United play Riverina Rhinos and Woden Western play Tigers FC. Our live game on Sunday is back here at Deakin Stadium. Small matter of Canberra FC versus Canberra Olympic. That should be an absolute corker. And Belconnen United back up with a trip to Gungahlin, which could be a preview of the FFA Cup final should Belconnen win tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be a list of fantastic matches on the weekend, particularly Deakin and Olympic. I know those two clubs traditionally put on a great show.
You would have seen seen a fair bit of NPL football, of course, this season. What's been your take on some of the less established clubs, or the less fashionable clubs like Tuggeranong or Woden Western, picking points off of the top teams?
I think I've already spoken about Woden. I think they've been one of the most improved sides this year. But, you know, what Mitch Stevens has done over at Tuggeranong has been nothing short of, incredible. He's managed to get a bunch of players with great team spirit and very well organised and doing exceptionally well in the league, which is what the league needed, to be honest with you.
But they're 8 points clear of the top four at the moment in Tuggeranong at the moment, of the fourth place in the four of the fifth place side. And their goal, obviously, at the start of the season would have been to make that four, and halfway through the season, they're well on track. Oh,
look, I think, like I said, Mitch has done an outstanding job. Just flying under the radar, and all of a sudden they've accumulated a lot of points.
Well, I'm sure we'll talk about Tuggeranong later in the season. Tonight we're talking about Canberra FC and Belconnen United, the two teams walking out onto this perfect playing surface, you'd say, from a distance. I haven't been out there for a walk. Have you been across it today?
Yeah, I have. It's superb. Just lovely.
One of the best in Canberra, alongside McKellar Park, of course. Looking at the two teams, starting with Canberra FC, a traditional 4-4-2 for Paul Makel, their coach. Sam Brown in goal, Ross Costanzo at right back, Matt Gerdebischer and Daniel Subasic at central defence, Ivan Pavlak on the left-hand side. Midfield, Thomas James, Ryan Keir, Ian Graham and Matthew Waters provide a quality midfield four. Up front, Kofi Danning, and perhaps a surprise inclusion of Jordan Lamb as a striker. Yeah, I must admit, it's certainly a position I've not seen him in the past playing. Well, they tell me he's very versatile and he's pacey, so I'm sure he'll cause some problems for the Belconnen defence. Yeah, I do know for a fact that Parlo and Danny rate him very highly. We'll see how he goes today. Belconnen United, they have a more structured 4-2-3-1, it would seem, from what we've got here. Obviously, it will change. Finn Durack in goal. They're back for Nick Dahl, Harry Williams, Isaac Clements and Phil Bourgeot. Goran McKeskey and Adrian Makel in front of them. Jason Ugrinic, Daniel Balach and Sam Whittier. Dustin Wells as the spearhead. Yeah, I think you'll find it's a narrow diamond midfield, Russ, with Dusty sitting a little bit deeper and the two strikers a little bit more narrow. Well, we watched the Belconnen on the weekend play Tigers FC, and we saw Adrian Makel, who was very impressive in that holding midfield role. And you think against that midfield, the more experience of Kieran Graham, he's going to have a good game tonight as well. He'll have to play out of his skin tonight. Two seasoned, first graders. We see the Makel in a Belconnen side for many years. Yeah, Danny's his uncle certainly graced the colours exceptionally well, didn't he? Yeah, and he's wearing red tonight. I saw him on the bench as an assistant to Paul. Yeah, well, I think they're Canberra's version of the Aloisi brothers. And a baptism of fire, of course, for Yuli De Silva. His first game on the weekend came up with a 2-1 victory over Tigers FC, straight into a cup action as well. Big one for him and his assistant, Steve Forshaw. I think both of them have picked up, some of the pieces from a pretty tumultuous, a couple of weeks, at the club, and they've done exceptionally well to get a result last week. The referee is Bruno Kell in the middle today, assisted by Alex McConaughey and Lauren Hargraves. Delphina Demoski is our fourth official on the far side. She tells me she doesn't have a substitutions board, though, so I'm not sure what's going to happen there. She'll be just walking around telling us how many minutes, holding the fingers up. Yeah. Belconnen in the blue, attacking the goal to our right, getting us underway. Be important for them to start well, you'd think, and it's an early chase down there. It looks like there's a change to the lineup here. It looks like Marco Tarazi is actually starting. Yeah, definitely starting. Yeah, hang on, here's a chance for Keir. We'll look at that in just a second. James, looking to get out on that rocket of a right foot that he has. Keir goes back to Gerdebischer on the halfway line. So it would seem that Jordan Lamb isn't starting up front and that they've gone with Tarazi in the end. Yeah. More traditional striker. A more traditional striker, yeah. Mike Tarazi is certainly very good. It's a ball out wide looking for Waters. And a former Belconnen player too. Swings it towards the near post. Danning was in there. It's going to drop for Pavlak. It's a nervous start for Belconnen at the moment, Russ. They seem to be a little bit off the pace. Oh, here we go. First time for the Blue Devils to send the ball forward and a chase up front. Keir, that is, chasing back. He's dropped into in fact, I'm not sure who that is at number 3. Oh, sorry, it's Daniel Subasic, isn't it? Yeah, he's just changed his shirt number. Yeah. Good start for us. An old trick for new commentators. Well, certainly new commentator. Yeah, so they've definitely changed around a couple of things. Keep us on our toes early on. Maybe Jordan Lamb pulled up lame in the warm-up or something. We'll have to see if we can find out what happened there. Anyway, Sam Brown in goal. 2 good goalkeepers here at Canberra FC. Jordan Thurtell on the bench as well. They rotate them quite regularly.
Yeah, they're exceptionally lucky to have 2 quality goalkeepers at the club who they rotate.
Where's Maycool?
Maycool.
Belconnen won't be overawed by the experience. Many of these players have been in this kind of exposure before, at this kind of level.
Harry Williams on the ball right now, had an exceptional standout first up season last year. There's Jason coming inside. Young Harry, I see some really... He's got a bright future, Russ. He really does.
Well, Maycool sends out looking for Dahl. Bit too much on that one, though, and Brown will comfortably collect. Subisic.
Just Ufuk Tale. I just say good day to him, the Australian under-20 coach.
And we're on the back of the stands here at Deakin Stadium on the far side of the field, the main stand on the other side. At least we're not one step further back. It's quite precarious back there.
Yeah. It's interesting, Phil Bourgeot as playing as a left back. I think he's specifically been picked in the side to pick up Thomas James.
We'll see how that battle goes.
Yeah, I don't think you'll see Phil going forward too often. I think he'll be sticking with James like glue.
Whittier was in there, and it's a throw to Belconnen. Reasonable crowd in the stand on the far side, and a few more coming onto this near side where we are.
It's a beautiful evening to watch football.
Subasic is going to have to be on his toes here. Finds Brown. A raking ball forward, looking for Danning, but picked off by Maycool. And McKeskey couldn't get it under control, though. And here come Canberra FC. James, Bourgeot tight.
Yeah.
He still comes away from him, though, and it's a good ball outside of the foot. And there's a chance for Waters in behind the Belconnen defence early. Matthew Waters on the left foot, slides it across. It's deflected. It must be a goal. It's a simple tap-in for Kofi Danning. And it's an early goal that Canberra FC would have wanted and the Blue Devils would have dreaded. First blood to the men in red.
Yeah, look, it was an exceptional ball out to Matty Waters. Unfortunately, Nick Dahl was just caught too far inside. Didn't react quick enough, and they got round the back four, and it was just a cut back and a very simple finish for Kofi.
Well, it all came from the original pass from Thomas James to the outside of the boot, and Waters did well to keep his cool. Got a bit lucky with that deflection, but once it fell into the path of Danning, he walked it in the net. He wasn't going to miss that, was he?
Oh, he couldn't miss from there. Again, it was just a unfortunate defensive error. Nicky Dahl just get caught too far inside.
But what have Belconnen got in response?
Well, one of the qualities of past Belconnen size is their ability to be able to shake something like that off, Russ. So hopefully they'll display that tonight.
Williams finds Bukowski. Pressured straight away by the 2 red shirts. Ryan Keir was there initially, and Tarazi forces the error and a throw in to Canberra FC, which Waters will take. An early goal always settles the nerves for the home side and doesn't do the heart palpitations of the away coaches any good.
It certainly opens the game up now. Belconnen will have to come out now and start putting a little bit more pressure, and I think you'll find there'll be a little bit more urgency now.
Waters flagged offside. You can see early on there that they're looking for this left-hand side of midfield. They think there's obviously a chance for Waters to take on Dahl.
He's certainly staying. He's hugging the touchline, isn't he, Manny? So they're trying to get him out wide and trying to ping that long ball to him. Finding they're getting a little bit of joy there.
Clements flicked on by Wells. Chases on for Balach. And that's a good piece of defending by Matty Gerbisher.
Best defender in the league still.
James will go early with the throw, looking to get the goal scorer Danning in behind, and he's got pace, Kofi Danning, and he's going to get there. But that's a good piece of defending by Clements.
Yeah, absolutely.
Formerly of this parish, of course. Here's Wells. First time we've seen him on the ball, and he's robbed by Ian Graham, who gets it back and then gives it straight to Jason Ugrinnick. Bit of space for the winger to take on his man. They'll need him to spark this evening, I believe.
They'll definitely need him on his best form. He's just been a little bit out of sorts, but, on the weekend he proved he was a match winner, and they're going to need, his form from last year.
Yeah, where he scored 20-plus goals in the league.
Yeah.
Whatever he was eating at home, Dean, you need to get him back on that stuff straight away.
You'll have to talk to Mrs. Ugrinnick.
Change of diet hasn't helped him. Here's Maycool. Looking to bring it forwards. Williams, back to Maycool again. Nice spread with the ball, and it's a good run too.
Yeah, it's a
opportunity for Belconnen. Whittier swings it to this near side where it's met comfortably by Pavlak, and Graham will pick up the pieces. Tarazi, nice spin. Left-footed. Waters swings it in towards the penalty area, getting a bit of banter off the Canberra FC fans as they walk past us. Here's Wells, dropping deep to get possession.
It looks very much like Dustin Wells is playing in the 10.
And that's a giveaway.
Danny Budach high in the 9.
It's good that they've got those options, haven't they? Budach can do that in Wells, they can drop deep, they can interchange, and I guess you can always put Sam Whittier through there as well, and then players can pull wide. It makes it hard for defenders. Oh,
absolutely. Certainly when it was a masterstroke on the weekend, putting Dusty in that false 9 and having Danny Budach in the 10. And when someone like Dusty plays in that position, defenders don't know whether they're going to need to track them or do they stay.
Well, there's a switch again from Subasic to this near side to Pavlak. He's looking for the ball infield to Tarazi, who looks lively. Yeah. Ball to Graham. Looking to slide it towards James, but that's a good piece of defending. That's Whittier who came back to get it.
It's just a little bit too easy at the moment for Deacon. Belconnen are just going to have to show a little bit more urgency with their defending.
Keep giving the ball away, which doesn't help.
No, exactly.
Especially against a team of this quality. Here's Ryan Keir looking to orchestrate something for FC, who lead 1-0 here live on Bar TV Sports. FFA Cup semi-final action, live from Deakin Stadium.
Certainly slipping the ball around, aren't they, Russ? It just seems to be a little bit quicker than what... here we go.
Well, here's a chance for Badach. He's robbed him. Ugrinic's made the run ahead of him. Badach holds it up, though. Perhaps could have released Jason Ugrinic then. Still going, though, Daniel Badach. Showing good points of inches. Back to Ugrinic. Shooting chance for Jason Ugrinic. Good save by Brown. The rebound from Wells, and it's deflected wide for a corner. First real chance for the Blue Devils.
Yeah, look, that was a fantastic opportunity for Jason. Unfortunately, I mean, he struck it well, and it was a good save.
Wells' follow-up is a good block as well. To concede the corner. I think he was stretching.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they've defended that well. I mean, Matty Goodbisher got dispossessed there, but you can just see the qualities of him. He certainly made it hard for Budach, ran back and scrambled well.
First set piece, Wells swings it in towards that near post. Good firm header away from Keir. Mako tries his luck from distance, but that was ambitious from the youngster and never troubled Sam Brown, who made a decent save there, and he needed to because Jason Ugrinic caught hold of that one.
Yeah, he did. Maybe if he had his time again, maybe Jason would have tried to aim for the far post instead of trying to slam it from there. But again, you don't know. You're trying to get those things that can come back to you quickly, I suppose, and he snapped at it.
Would you maybe have thought that Ugrinic may have peeled to the right there to create some more space for Badach, and Badach maybe should have played him in?
Look, I think that if they had their time again, they probably would have tried to counter a little bit quicker.
But positive stuff for the Blue Devils. Here's Keir, pressured by McKeskey. That battle will be one to keep an eye on. McKeskey wins it. Ugrinic, robbed by Tarazi. Got a bit of bite about it now after that early goal. Here's Gerbisher.
Yeah, I think you'll find that Belconnen have sped things up a little bit. They needed to, because they certainly started a little sluggish.
It's up towards Danning. Wins the ball rather haphazardly. That's short. Here's Kofi Danning. And out came Finn Jurek, and needed to be strong with his feet to prevent a second goal.
Finn Jurek has been outstanding for Belconnen this year. Had a breakout season last year. Once he got into the side, he was never going to get out of it.
And he did well there. Keeps his side in this cup tie even this early. Danning, both Canberra FC strikers looking lively. Here's James. We know what quality he's got. Off he goes, Thomas James, on one of these runs into the penalty area. Chance here for Tarazi, and Belconnen get it away, but the warning signs are there already.
He's a dangerous player. He's just such a handful, and they may need to consider having a couple of players marking him.
We ghosted past his marker there and got away very, very easily. Pressure still on for FC. Pavlak to take the throw. Looking for a runner. Finds Danning on the edge of the box. Twists and turns. Here's James. Costanzo found him. Still going, James. Looking for the 1-2. It might come on the far-hand side. There's still red shirts. There's 2 or 3 in the middle. Danning just overran it and then treads on the ball. And Ugrinic needs to get rid of this under immense pressure from Waters. and facing the wrong way, and he does well.
Yeah.
But can only find Pavlak, who swings it into the penalty area looking for James.
Belconnen are under the pump at the moment, Russ. They're just going to have to just see out this little difficult period.
Costanzo wins his team a free kick, and the pressure will remain on.
Yeah, they've got them pinned at the moment, and they're going to have to start to get this sorted out relatively quickly. Phil's going to have to just defend a little bit better on Thomas James.
Well, Bourgeau and Dahl are getting the runaround at the moment of fullbacks. They're getting James and Pavlak and Waters out on this near side. Now, anyway, this is a free kick, and Thomas James has got an absolute cannon of a shot. I wouldn't be surprised if he tries his luck from here. He's lining one up. He's got plenty of red shirts to aim for. He's going to chip this one into the penalty dangerously. Danning can't get there. Bounces up in the air for Pavlak, who hoiks or Gerbish, or other who hoiks it goalwards. And
yeah, quality ball. He hits the ball well, doesn't he? It's a great delivery.
Well, there's everywhere you look in this red-shirted team, there's a player that can cause damage, and at the moment they're causing plenty to Belconnen. Still only 1-0 though, that early goal from Danning. And yeah. Belconnen have had a chance of their own, so those of Blue Devils' persuasion, there's still plenty to play for. Here's Ugrinic. Gerbish is back with him, and a little nudge with the shoulder there from Jason Ugrinic.
Yeah, look, Belconnen just need to settle a little bit, maybe get the ball down, try to get a little bit of possession. Once they get that, they can maybe just see out this little difficult period and they can come back into it.
Brown clips the free kick, looking for Waters. Dahl's there, though. Ugrinic picks up the loose ball, but it's robbed by Kier.
So it's just a little bit too easy at the moment. They just got to get their foot on it and hopefully just secure some possession in here, because they just don't seem to be able to get any ball.
They can't keep hold of it when they do get it. Pavlak goes back to Gerbischer. Sebastian square and happy to go back home to Brown to start again. Balash puts the pressure on, and that's nicely done by Sam Brown. Confident piece of goalkeeping. Kier's up against Dahl.
2v1 again. Nicky Dahl. They've got to get this organised.
Waters will take on Dahl. It's got him for pace again. That's a decent ball towards the far post. James arriving on the volley, hooks it back into the area, but no red shirts there. And Mukewski for a grateful Belconnen. Wells. Nice touch. Nice a chance for Balach to run at Subasic.
Yeah, unfortunately, Danny again just isolated a little bit because the Belconnen are just too far away.
I think he'd fancy himself if he was one-on-one with Gerbischer, wouldn't he, Balach? But Subasic with a bit more pace.
Yeah.
Belconnen needs to settle.
They need to get a little bit of possession here. Just start dipping the ball around a little bit quicker. Maybe get Gorham Mukewski on the ball. Start going forward and looking forward. It's at the moment, it's just a little bit too easy, a little bit too pedestrian.
Durack to Clements. Wells brings it forward. Here's a chance for Whittier. It's a good run on the left-hand side by Bourgeau. Looking to get the ball in, wins his team a corner. Better football from Belconnen, and fullback Phil Bourgeau pushing forward, causing problems at the other end. They're going to go short here, Dean.
Yeah,
Wells.
Dusty.
But James has read that one like a book, and then Wells has brought him down from behind.
Yeah, a little bit cynical there, but a little bit cynical there by Dusty. But yeah, you're right. A little bit better from Belconnen. Sam Whittier coming inside to pick up the ball, overlapping fullback, and they got him behind. I need a little bit more of that though, Russ.
They do. We've only played 15 minutes. It's been mostly Canberra FC, but there've been glimpses that the Blue Devils have got something to offer. Brown will take the free kick on this unseasonably balmy Canberra evening. Pavlak hoiks that one into the night sky. Whittier brings it down and got one right in the chest there. I think a volley from James from a yard away. That would have hurt.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it was the chest. It could have been somewhere else. Completely accidental, of course. What I like about Thomas James this season, Dean, is the maturity that he's showing. A couple of seasons ago, that challenge from Dusty would have provoked a response.
I think a little bit of credit a lot of the credit has to go to Parlour and Danny, who have just seemed to be getting more out of him this season. And again, Matty almost on the outside of Nicky Dahl, but he's defended that one a lot better.
And pinged for handball by Bruno Cal.
Here we go.
Here's Ugrinic, looking to go early.
Yeah, again.
Read by Gerbischer. And it's too easy for Canberra FC at the moment. Here's Pavlak, looking for a runner.
A little bit too easy, a little bit too predictable.
Dahl Barac, nice touch. Bit of space for Ugrinik. Across comes Waters to close it down straight away. Throw into Belconnen though. McKeskey's found a pocket of space, but he's turned it over. Danning. And they win it back again, but a little nibble there by Dustin Wells. His second foul within minutes.
I'm just noticing that Dusty's just coming back deeper and deeper to pick up the ball. It's probably, you know, his way of trying to help the team to hopefully, you know, win a little bit of possession in midfield, which they need to do.
You find good players do that a lot, don't they, Dean? When they get a bit frustrated, they come and see if they can help coordinate things. That's a raking ball from the back by Sebastian's looking for James. The flag goes up, though.
Yeah.
For offside.
Yeah, so
they've obviously seen something in the videos, haven't they, where they think these balls over the top are going to expose the fullbacks.
Absolutely. You can just see it's very well noticeable that they're trying to rake those diagonal passes and try to get on the outside of, particularly here on the left-hand side, or Belconnen's right-hand side.
That's better from Whittier. Off he goes. Plenty of pace about him and looks for Barac. Asks an awful lot of him, though. And the striker won't keep that one in.
Yeah.
Good probing run, though, from the youngster.
Belconnen need to reset their lines. They need to start to, you know, get the ball down and start playing through some of those, establish some decent midfield lines and get some diagonal passes going. Because at the moment, people are just too far away. There seems to be just two blocks. You know, a block of three in the front third and the rest of the Belconnen side in the back third.
Throw to Belconnen in the shadows of the Ivan Bullen stand. Across the far hand side here at Deakin Stadium. Lovely little football venue in Canberra, one of the best ones we've got here.
It's a beautiful stadium.
Nice setup.
Always has been.
And great Kranskis as well. Managed to get one of them in me before kick-off. Love a Kransky. You're Croatian, Dean. You'd love a bit of a Kransky as well.
Oh, we love all of that. And Sarmo is very nice too.
The Chivapis.
Yeah, just Chivape.
Making us hungry. Here's Wells, left-footed, swings that one in. A bit of pace on it, but Brown's always behind it. Will look to get his team back underway, but no runners. James has made one for him, and Brown apologising for not releasing, and will do at this attempt.
It's a nice ball, but, you know, crossing the Jason Ugrinik, I don't think you'll be able to, you know, get a lot of joy there in terms of trying to header the ball.
I can't remember
make sure that you get Danny Barac in the box.
I don't remember Jason Ugrinik scoring a header very often.
No.
It's the old thundercrackers going off. But like Robbie Catanach, he doesn't get many headers either, but he managed one this season. The skill and the quality comes from elsewhere with those players. Here's Makor. Hopeful ball forward, and Pavlak's got it. Go to Bishop.
Yeah.
He's happy to go back to Brown again.
Yeah, just at the moment it's a little bit too easy. A little bit too easy for Deakin getting out. And again, Thomas James coming inside to pick up the ball, just to create a little 2v1 in midfield.
James back to Subasic, and once again Brown sends it forward. Half-hearted jump by Costanzo. Bounced off his back though. Wasn't the most...
It's sort of... The game has settled down a little bit, and Belconnen enjoying a little bit more possession of the ball. Dusty little flick to Whittier. Whittier's actually playing quite well.
He's been sharp and bright. Probably the brightest of the Belconnen players up front so far. Seen a lot of this, though, with teams going back to the keeper at the moment. And here's Williams receiving it off Durack, looking to bring it forward. Tarazi closes him down. Makevsky, nice touch from Mako, though. And here's Wells. Gets it onto that left foot and swings it wide. And opportunity, perhaps, for Belconnen. Barac is in behind the back flag, stays down, pulls it back for Ugrinik, leaves it run. Half a chance here. Real opportunities, deflected and saved by Brown. It was Mako who got in. And he dawdled initially, but then created the space for himself, and when the shot came in, Brown was equal to it.
Oh, look, a great little piece of play there. They've got in behind the in between the fullback and the centre back there, and great little opportunity initially for Jason, and then Adrian Mako had the opportunity.
Wells. Barac, nice turn. Breaks for Ugrinik. Darwin's the ball, and Gerbischer sends it forward.
Yeah. Belconnen enjoying a little bit of possession now. They're starting to settle.
Williams finds Barac with a nice pass and looks to find Mako, but his touch lets him down a little. but rather wasted from FC.
Yeah, it's a real pity that Belco just didn't take that opportunity. I thought that was a very good one.
Well, they'll give them hope that they can create some more. And here they come.
I think the difference with that little passage of play, Russ, was the fact that Belconnen moved it much quicker. And went through the lines quicker. And when they do move that ball quicker in that midfield, they're able to hopefully find that spare man and then get in behind Deacon.
Of course, one or two issues. Brown's had to make 2 saves. In fact, Brown's made more saves than Durack at the moment.
They're enjoying a good little spell here, Russ.
Can they find a response? Halfway through the half, 1-0 to Canberra FC for those of you just joining. Goal from Kofi Danning as early as the 3rd minute. Simplest goal you will see this season, I would imagine. Nice little tap in for him. They all count though. Belco growing into the match. And James has robbed Clements, and luckily for Isaac Clements, the ball's out of play. Otherwise, James was away, and I don't think he was catching him.
He's doing a lot of work off the ball, which I haven't seen for in past seasons, Russ. So he's obviously enjoying his football here.
We did a game here with Mitch Stevens against Tigers FC, and we were very impressed with his tracking back and his work to get back and help out his defence as well. So yeah, he is enjoying it, and at both ends of the park, it would seem. Well,
I think you've got Michael Tarazi, who enjoys doing that type of work, and when you've got your strikers working hard defending up front, it just certainly makes it easier for the back 4 and midfield.
Williams, nice touch from Wells.
Better.
Space for Ugrinik. Puts his head down. And then the cross is charged down by Gerbischer. There's no real movement for him in the middle, but so he had to take his time. An early ball might have been the option if one of the strikers had made a run. Yeah,
well, I think Jason needs to play it either a lot earlier or decide that he's going to take his man on. He was sort of caught half and half there, wasn't he?
Caught in 2 minds.
Yeah.
Nothing came of it in the end, but once again, nice touch from Wells to get him in. Let's come off Makor's head. Be throwing in front of us here in the main stands. Still the 1 goal separating the 2 sides. The winner, of course, playing Gungahlin United for a place in the national competition, national round of 32, where they could, in fact, obviously draw an A-League team, which would be a big kudos to whoever that is. We've seen some big matches down the years since the FFA Cup's come to Canberra. Tuggeranong United playing Melbourne Victory, of course, and Canberra Olympics' meteoric run to the semi-finals where they were beaten by Sydney FC. Incredible performance.
It was an unbelievable run by Canberra Olympic. It made everyone excited in Canberra. Put us on the map.
They beat Surfers Paradise Apollo, Redlands United and Green Gully on the way to losing to Sydney FC in the last 4.
Exceptional effort.
Especially considering what Sydney FC have done since then. It's been an incredible run for them as well.
Yeah.
I think they've only lost like 3 football matches, haven't they, in about 3 seasons. Kia, Costanzo. Danning wins it back.
Yeah, again, those strikers are working so hard for their team.
And Taurasi
makes a massive difference.
Bit of singing in the crowd. Bit of Croatian singing at Deakin Stadium.
Yeah, there's been a shift in the way things have been run here at Canberra FC this season, and I think it's an actual enjoyable environment.
James leaves that one bounce. Obviously got a call from behind him. Picked up by Whittier, and here's chance for Mako to find Wells, and now Mukevski, much better from FC, and that's a good ball around the corner as well to find Ugrinik. Chance for him to put his head down and go at the red defence, but it breaks off of Dahl, and free kick.
And again,
gives away.
Yeah, look, it's Jason again caught in 2 minds. Dusty's made a fantastic angle diagonal run, and really he shouldn't have ignored it. He'd play it. Certainly, if I was his coach, I'd be annoyed with that.
Well, you were his coach last season, and you would have been annoyed.
And I would have been annoyed. He would have been I would have given it to him at half time. You really can't be ignoring runs like that, particularly in 2v1 situations.
Well, he can redeem himself from the dead ball here. Ugrinik with the left foot, lining it up. There's plenty of blue shirts to aim for. Clements has made the way forward. Here's Ugrinik, swings it towards the far post. The header's there, and there's an opportunity, but the flag's up. It won't count. Flag's gone up early for offside. And it cuts short the Blue Devils' celebrations. They thought they'd equalised.
Yeah.
But it went up early. Alex Belconnen on this near side. Must have been the initial header back across goal.
Yeah, look, it was a great header. Cut back. Oh, he's headed it back across the goal, and which is what you should be doing when the ball's floated past that far post. Just unfortunate.
Yep, unfortunate. Flag was up, and be interested to see if it was the initial one. Daniel Barrett is saying he wasn't him, so I don't think it was.
But again, you know, Belconnen, you know, much better in that midfield when they move it quicker, when they shift it out of the congestion, move it through their midfield, get the ball wide to either Jason or Sam. They just Sam Whittier. They just look much better when they do it.
Subasic behind this free kick for Canberra FC. That's looking for Waters. Good ball too. But
so that's much better defending. You know, he's moved. Nicky Dale's moved as the ball's been played, so he can defend it better.
Well, Pavlak will take the throw. We've seen him running down the wing at Deacon plenty of times in the past. Is Danning. Chance in the air. Good strength from Tarazi initially, but loses out. Now Makevsky looks to bring it away. Battles with Keir, who just holds him off and swings it to Costanzo, who's got a bit of space if he can keep this one in. It's asking a lot, though, and the fullback can't.
It's a good feature of Canberra FC's game is their defending in their front third, or the front three there is just superb.
It's Bourgeot. Clements. Williams. Now Makevsky. Keir comes across there and gets a firm challenge in. It's been a good battle, that one.
Ryan Keir's a quality player.
Had a long time out with injury, only just coming back into the squad. We saw him come on here against Tigers and score twice in quick succession. Should have had a hat-trick. Yeah, in fact, I spoke to him after the game. He missed an absolute sitter of a header.
He had a spell at Sydney Olympic a few seasons back. So, you know, they obviously saw something in Ryan.
It's a lovely touch from James. Off he goes, past the second, and he's looking for runners ahead of him. Thomas James, and he's got one out wide here in Waters. Red shirts flooding forward. Waters fires one goalwards. It's been fumbled by Durack, and it just squeezes past the post. And it moved on the goalkeeper at the last minute, but he'll be disappointed he didn't hold that one.
I think you'll find that he actually deliberately parried it away, Russ, to be honest with you.
We'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt there. I think he felt that, and if you're going to do that, if you're going to parry it, that's where you should be doing it, rather than in front of strikers.
Squeaky bum time for him as it squirmed its way past the post. Benefit of the doubt to Durack then. A good save then. Got him on his toes for the corner, which James will take, swings it into the near post, and it's not his best. Good piece of defending.
As opposed to the weekend where corner went into the goal directly.
Yeah, Argentinian Nicolas Vigefanier for Tigers. They've obviously worked on that in training since then, if they've had any training sessions, maybe a light run.
I think they did.
James goes down rather easily. No doing. Bourgeot. And he gets a rather soft free kick.
It's a real pity that he didn't launch it, because Jason was one-on-one. Jason Ugrinic was one-on-one. I thought he'd seen it, but he decided to put his head back down and dribble.
Clements, he looks for it and looked for Barach, but was never really on. So a pretty lively match so far. Chances at both ends. Yeah. Quarter of an hour to go till half-time. Still the one goal separating the two teams here live on Bar TV Sports. Danning jumps, is beaten in the air by Clements. I think that is. Challenges in midfield. And it's all a bit scrappy. And it's the Blue Devils who come away with it, with Mako, who tidies up. And Durack gets us going once more.
It's interesting, TJ swapped over. He's gone to Nicky Dale.
Dahl was making the run. That's a good piece of defensive work by Pavlak.
He's come out here a wide on the left, Russ.
Interesting change. Seen it a lot this season, the wingers changing after halfway through or a little bit later. Lots of teams in Canberra doing it. Maybe it's a tactic to keep everyone on their toes. Bourgeot slips. Manages to get the ball forward though, and he's still down.
Oh.
And Woody will kick this one out. I think he copped one in the chest rather accidentally.
They need Phil. Hopefully it's not serious.
Well, he gets a bit of treatment, Dean. Half an hour into the match, and what's your thoughts in general?
Well, clearly, Canberra FC seem to be penetrating more when they do get it into the midfield and into that front three. They're proving quite dangerous, you know, particularly TJ and Matty Waters. When Belconnen shifted through their midfield, and they create the overload in there, they too can cause some problems for that back four of Deakin, but they're just not doing it often enough. It'll be interesting to see what happens when they go back into the sheds and what Steve and Yuli do. But you know, if it was me, I'd be moving Danny Bardach back into the 10, and maybe moving Dusty at the top of the narrow diamond.
Well, they've got some options on the bench. They've got Marty Rains, who had a good match on the weekend. Sam Habtemariam, Lucas Mirages, who played left back but can play on the left hand side further forward as well, and Daniel Sparrow making a comeback into first grade football as well after a bit of time out for him. It's a solid bench, and you know, certainly Marty Rains wouldn't look out of place here in starting. It was an interesting call in terms of him not starting. Young Lucas is a bright prospect, and I think there's no doubt that he'll be used to some effect in the game. Great ball forward, looking for Thomas James in behind. Here is James bearing down a goal. His touch is heavy though, and you don't often see that from the English striker. No. Opportunity gone. I was going to say with Mirages, he'd be one you'll be obviously looking at for Canberra United this year. Oh, definitely. He's a very bright prospect. We've seen a couple of Canberra prospects make the move in recent weeks, Mikey Katsoulis and Nick Faust. They're fantastic opportunities for those boys, and let's hope that, you know, that they make something of it, and you know, hopefully bigger and better things. Plenty of football talent in Canberra. We've been saying it for a long time, and it's about time they gave us an A-League team, Dean. Not the forum for us to be talking about it, but we all want one, and hopefully it'll come now the bid submissions are in. Yeah, absolutely. FFA Cup football is what we're concentrating on tonight. Finn Durack has it. Finds Wells. Better from Belconnen. Bourgeot, left-footed, looking for the run of Balac, and he's well defended by Subasic. It'd be interesting what they do here with Yuli, what Yuli and Steve do. You know, if it was me, I'd be swapping over Isaac with Harry Williams, just because TJ's on this side here, and just provide Nicky Dahl with a little bit of cover. Well, James was away from him there, wasn't he? It's been a torrid opening for Dahl. He's had a good game on the weekend, but it's different chance here. Wells couldn't get there. Brown was quick off his line. Dusty's looked lively tonight. I think he's been the pick of the Belconnen players. Him and Adrian Makel. He looked good on the weekend as well, both of those players. So bring their form into this one. Here's Canberra FC Danning. Chance to bring this one in towards the byline and looking for an option. Swings it in, and it's a good one too, and Durack does very, very well to hold on to that one. Yeah. You can see TJ at the back post there, ghosting in from deep. And Waters was lurking right on the edge of the 6-yard box as well. Pavlak hooks that one forward. It's to no one in particular though. Graham, neat and tidy as usual. Danning look dangerous when they get into this final third. Keir, now Graham, it'll come to this near side. Pavlak, good tracking back though by Daniel Balac. Gives his side an opportunity to break with Mukeski. Now Balac is on his bike, he's got Ugrinig ahead of him, no real movement other than that, and the move's rather petered out, and they've given the ball away, and that was a coach killer unfortunately. And here's Graham. It is. Unfortunately, Goran didn't let the ball go as Danny Bardach was moving forward, and so he had to check his run, and the whole attack stalled. Keir finds Pavlak onto that left foot, looking to take on Dahl, chips it into the penalty area. Durack needs to be firm, and he just got a hand on it to push it over the bar. Good piece of goalkeeping from the youngster. Yeah, Finn's a very reliable goalkeeper, and he's kept his team in the game. He was dipping on him. Marcel Munoz and the Gungali United coaching staff making their way into the stand, coming to see who they'll be playing in the final. Yeah. After their win on Tuesday night, 4-3 after extra time against Woden Western. Yeah, no, Marcel's done a fantastic job over at Gungal, and they play some pretty football. Like I said, a sticky start to the season, lost the first couple, but since then they've really grown into their performances and in the FFA Cup final. And at the moment they're playing Canberra FC, who lead Belconnen United 1-0 and have a corner. Looking to defend this one as we come into the last 8 minutes or so of the first half. Swung towards a near post, real chance here, and Durack again claims it. It was
young
Subasic just throwing himself in there.
Yeah.
Couldn't get the connection he wanted. If he had, it would have been 2-0, he would have thought.
Belconnen have just lost their way in the last 5 minutes. They're just going to have to go. Just do those little things right. Yeah, get the ball down, start picking passes, and again do what they do well. Create little 2v1s in that midfield, shift it quicker, and I'm sure that they'll get a little bit more joy than what they're getting at the moment.
Another wicked delivery from James into that penalty area, and that one's out the ground from Durack. Running out of match balls here.
He's interesting. You see him in at right back, and then you see him out wide on the left. I just don't know where he's going. He seems to have a license to go wherever he likes.
Well, if you're in the form that he's in, here he is.
Oh, what a ball.
Sweeping ball across this side to Waters. Cuts inside. Keir. Costanzo lets it run to James, and why not? Keir again. So you can see what he's trying to do, but Dahl was there. And here's a space again for you, Grinick. What option is he going to take this time?
Just not a lot in front of him. All I'm seeing is just red numbers.
Puts his foot down.
It's a little bit better. Just all red.
There was no one in front of him at all.
Matty
picked up there by Matty Kirbisher.
Well, they were grand finalists, winners, teammates last year, so they still respect each other and love each other.
Good touch that from Waters, and that's a good ball from Tarazi as well. Tried to help it on its way. But you can see when Ugrin's making those breaks, there's not much ahead of him, is there? I mean, Balak's just come deep to help out Wells as well, and they really need a focal point.
That's exactly right. They just had a sea of red in front of him, and you know, when they were getting a little bit of joy, Dusty was coming in deep, and then Balak was coming in deep into midfield, create those little 2v1s. But at the moment, when they go one out, it's just too hard. They're up against seasoned defenders, and again, Jason Ugrinik dispossessed.
Graham finds James. Clips one into the path of Keir, who's made the run, but that's going to skip away off the surface. Off for a goal kick, but once again,
they're looking
Belconnen architects of their own destruction here at the moment, aren't they? They're turning the ball far too cheaply against quality players.
Just hanging on to it too long. They're just far too, Deacon or Canberra FC are just far too strong at the moment.
It's a flashback there, Canberra Deacon.
Was when I played, Russ.
Yeah, no, they prefer Croatia Deacon as well. And
Croatia Deacon.
Gone through a few iterations here. That's Subasic sending it forward. Proud of their Croatian heritage, of course. You can see it. You can see it in the ground as well. And there's a lot of football clubs in Canberra, not just Canberra, but in Australia as well, very proud of their heritage.
Look, it's a very proud club, and they're very proud of their football history. A lot of great players have graced this ground here. Russ, Tony Limousin, Ned Zelic. Joe Simonich was a junior here.
Well, it's funny, a very welcoming football club as well. It can be hostile to opposition players for the 90 minutes when they're out there, but it's a very welcoming club afterwards and before.
All those hostilities are on the pitch. Once you get off the pitch, they're beautiful people.
Good ball forwards, looking for the challenge from McKeskey. It's going to find its way to Ugrinik. Here's Balach. Striding forward, goes down. Free kick in a dangerous position. Goes early, interestingly. Swept towards the far post. The volley in from Ugrinik is over the crossbar. It was pushed across by Whittier.
Disappointing.
And Ugrinik volleys it over, and maybe they would have been better to set that set piece up.
Maybe, yeah. Look, it was a good opportunity, just poor technique, unfortunately. Danny decided to go early. Sam Whittier's, crossed a nice ball, and it's fair to say that Jason should have done better.
Hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it? It's always easier to play from up here in the box. If that had come off, we'd have been saying what a genius decision to take a quick free kick. Keir swings that one forward.
Played my best games up here, mate.
All my best games have been in here. Here's James. Looking to run into the penalty area. Thomas James onto that right foot, still going. James pulls it across, and Belconnen defend well. Clements, I think that was who was involved, and they get rid of it again. It's coming straight back.
The balls just seem to find him. Even the rebounds at the moment.
Can't miss him with that hair either, can you, Thomas James?
I think Yuli and Steve have got a few decisions to make.
Sliding in on him there, and still wins it when he's on the floor. Prodded forward, and
they're going to have to do something to quell his dangerous runs and
towering head from Gerbischer
and
finds
potentially
James.
Have a double marker.
Ball over the top for Waters. Looking for Danning, still going Waters. Nice touch, takes him away from the defender. Danger again for Belconnen. Nice ball towards the far post. Tarazi is going to pick this up. There's a blue shirt in attendance. It's Dahl. Tarazi looking for his options though. Not much to pick from, so comes back to Pavlak.
Matt Waters is actually playing really well tonight for Canberra FC. Russ.
He's settled into the game very well. Here's Subasic. Clips that one, looking for Costanzo. Must be great for Ross Costanzo as a young fullback as well, to know that if he goes, Thomas James is just going to drop in for him.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing is, I think Thomas James just goes, does what he feels that is I'm right, but invariably those decisions are right.
Well, they're certainly enjoying him here at Canberra FC. They're leading 1-0. 3 minutes left of the first half. Can Belconnen find a way back into this one before half-time? That one's thundered forward by Gerbischer and bounced off the head.
It's all a little pedestrian at the moment. I think Yuli and Steve will be looking forward to half-time and reset and hopefully have some, bring them out refocused.
We mentioned the Belconnen United bench. I'm sure we'll see some changes at some stage. That one's hooked forwards, but there's no blue shirt within 20 metres of that, and it's easy defending for Murray Gerbischer, who nods it back to Brown as a firecracker goes off behind the goal. Outside the stadium, I should add. Danning, Kier, picked off by Clements, who swings it forwards. Gives it away though, and Subasic finds Costanzo. Neither side being able to string together more than 2 or 3 passes at the moment. Makevsky, referee gets in the way. Maycourt, it's a better ball. Looking for Whittier. Well, great touch from Sam Whittier. Now then, can he find something for Belconnen? Dahl. Maycourt. 3 of the youngsters combining. Dahl's made the run. Good run too. Found himself a bit of space. Can he deliver? It's a wonderful ball into the penalty area. And the volley from Makevsky. Didn't quite get it right, but good signs again from Belconnen and great play from their 3 youngsters. Yeah,
Belconnen actually, when they get the ball into the box or into the front third, they're actually looking quite dangerous. It's just far and few between. I think they just need to get their foot on the ball in midfield and start stringing a few passes.
Went to the dying embers of the first half. Sam Brown will take the goal kick. Looks at this stage as if Canberra FC will take that lead into the sheds, unless there's something dramatic. Whittier heads it forward, nicely won by Gerbischer. Makevsky, challenge from Waters, who does well, swings it in towards the path of James, and Bourgeau defending needs to do it well and does. Here's Wells, who's flitted in and out of the game at the moment. Wells need to get him on the ball as often as they can, you'd think. Here's Bourgeau. So. Nice touch from Balac. That's better. Wells. Ugrinik. Again, rather isolated. And 2 red shirts from around him immediately.
Yeah, look, they're scrambling really well, Canberra FC. Getting numbers behind the ball. But you can see when Belconnen shift it quickly through that midfield, they actually look quite dangerous.
James, well, he's won the free kick against Clements.
I'm sure that Yuli and Steve will impress on them to do something very similar, to try to shift the ball a lot quicker and try to move the ball quicker in that back 4 too.
Well, we're into stoppage time. This will be the last chance of the first half. An opportunity for Thomas James, who's probably been the standout player of the first 45 minutes, to deliver the ball into the danger area if he wishes. Goes back to Subasic instead. James. Now Gerbischer. Looking for an option.
Here we go.
Dahl. Flicks on by Makevsky. Now Wells. And Bruno Kell draws the first half to a close. And Dean, early goal from Canberra FC. Not what Belconnen would have wanted, but the response has been reasonable since then, and they could have drawn level.
Look, they've had a number of opportunities. Belconnen certainly created a number of opportunities, and they're probably not pretty unlucky not to get at least one. But I think overall, the balance of the game, Canberra FC are good for the lead.
Well, thanks for your help in the first half, Dean. You'll be back for the second half at half-time here in the FFA Cup semi-final as we're looking to find the team that will play Gungahlin United in the final. Canberra FC lead, a Kofi Downing goal after 3 minutes. Is Canberra FC 1, Belconnen United 0. Welcome back to Deakin Stadium and the second half of the FFA Cup semi-final here live on Bar TV Sports. I'm Russ Gibbs, your commentator. Joining me in the commentary box for the second half, as he did in the first, is Dean Ugrinic. And Dean, can we see a way back for Belconnen United in this half?
Well, I think they're going to certainly have to improve and step up a little bit. It'll be interesting to see how Stephen Yurley and how they've reorganised them, what they've said to them. They're obviously going to have to counter TJ because at the moment he's completely dominant.
The two teams, I don't think there's any changes for Canberra FC. Them first, Sam Brown in goal, Pavlak, Subasic, Gerbischer and Costanzo across the back, Waters, Graham, Keir and James in the middle, up front Tarazi and the goal scorer Danning. Belconnen United, it doesn't appear as if they've made any changes yet either. Jurek in goal, Bourgeot, Clements, Williams and Dahl across the back, Makor and Mukewski in front of them, then Whittier, Barach, Ugrinic and Wells as the false nine. I think we've seen him play for quite a lot of this game, haven't we?
Absolutely. Well, it looks as if Dusty is playing in that role with Barach in the 10.
Will be Canberra FC to kick off the second half, playing in the red shirts, white shorts and blue socks, attacking the basketball.
They have made a change, Russ. They've made a change.
Here we go. Here is a change.
Yeah. Looks like it's...
Whereabouts are we looking? I'm trying to see where we're on the left back. So it looks like that'll be Dahl that's come off and Maragis has come on. Good spot there. Just jogs his way on to this near side. So Nicky Dahl, who had a bit of a torrid first half. Yeah. And Maragis' pace will help them no end against the quality of Pavlak, Waters and James. It's
going to be a test of fire for the young man, but I'm sure that he'll be able to handle it.
We're pretty impressed by what we saw from Maragis on the weekend. He'll need to bring that form into the second half.
It's a baptism of fire for him.
Big game for the youngster, Canberra United's academy prospects from last year, and he'll be involved here straight away up against Pavlik. Well, I'm seeing Aiden Brunskin, in fact, has come on as well for Canberra FC, slotting into the full-back role. I think he's come on for, is it Waters maybe?
No.
Brunskill's come into the defensive role and Pavlak's moved further forwards.
I'm just trying to see myself. Ross Costanzo's out there.
It's Tarazi.
Oh, it's, yeah.
Yeah, Tarazi's gone and James has moved forward. So quite a shuffle there. So it looks like it is Brunskill, Subasic, Gerbischer, Costanzo across the back, Waters, Graham, Keir in midfield, and James slots up front with Danning and Pavlak moves forward.
Geez, they don't lose anything moving, bringing on Brunskill and then pushing on Pavlak, do they?
And they put Thomas James into an even more dangerous position. So obviously Michael Tarazi had a shift. He was supposed to be on the bench to start with. Maybe he's not quite right.
Yeah, he may have pulled up sore from the weekend. He's had a history, unfortunately, of injuries. And maybe putting him in cotton wool.
Here's Pavlak. Good challenge from Wells, but Pavlak rides it and goes past Ugrinic, and there's an unfortunate slip by Maragis, and here's a chance for Danning. He's got James inside of him. Here's Thomas James arriving, but Danning's pass is uncharacteristically overhit. Waters will keep it in, though.
It's a little bit too easy for Canberra FC there.
Costanzo chips it into the penalty area. Here's Kofi Danning, brings it down. Good save by Jurek, and Belconnen under pressure straight away and get the ball clear. Kofi Danning almost making it two. Jurek keeping his team in the cup tie. And Ugrinic completing the clearance. Great control from Danning, and how quick was Jurek out to deny him?
Finn's keeping them in the game, and I think if they can see a difficult period here and see this out, and maybe they can get back into it, Russ. At the moment, they're just going to have to be, a couple of these midfielders are just going to have to be a little bit stronger.
Free kick.
From Belconnen.
Ugrinic gets it short from Makor. Wells. Mukewski. Looking for a runner ahead of him. Nice touch again from Wells. And the first corner of the second half for Belconnen. Nicely worked.
Yeah, I think if Belconnen can work the ball into Dusty, he's got an ability to find a player. He sees things that other players don't see.
Well, there's a corner to defend first off. Swung in, and the header from Whittier. Never got really under it though. Decent ball in from Wells. Good chance for Whittier.
Yeah.
So both sides making a change at the interval. And Belconnen will be hoping the Mirages can cope a little bit better with the marauding FC forwards.
I think Belconnen are just going to have to start to get a little bit stronger, start winning this first ball and looking to win the second ball.
Mirages misjudges that one again. Danning picks it up.
They're just being bossed around a little bit at the moment.
Here's Kofi Danning, gets away from Clements, slips on the greasy surface, and Clements can recover from Belconnen. Comes off Mirages, unfortunately falls for Brunskill. Pavlak. Back to Subasic. It's a lovely switch of ball from Subasic, but that's read by Bourget. It's a good firm header as well.
Great defending from Bourget there.
A couple of players slipping on the surface now. Here's Waters, the latest to slip, recovered his feet though. Costanzo finds James. Comes in field, nice exchange of passes, and here's Waters advancing forward, and he's probably asked too much of himself there. And Durack, who made that save that keeps his team in the cup tie. Touch from Barac, will have to chase his own flick though. And Daniel Subasic, who's been relatively comfortable in central defence tonight, the youngster. Yeah,
he has actually. He's played really well. Of course, he's got Matty Goodbusher there.
Always
helping him.
Waters finds Pavlak. Pavlak into the penalty area. Still going, Ivan Pavlak. Good ball in and good defending again by Clements.
Yeah, I thought young Lucas did really well there.
Mikevsky. Makor. His switch of play this time to Whittier. And James just shrugs him off. Does his defensive duty and will go all the way back to Sam Brown. Let's not forget, he made two decent saves in the first half as well, Dean.
Yeah, look, no, I think Belconnen are ruining those missed chances right now.
Is there one for them here? Ugrinic into the penalty area, shadowed by Brunskill. Switch towards the far post, the header from Barac, and it's looping, but it'll always go wide of goal, but much better from the Blue Devils.
It's just sporadic, isn't it, though, Russ? You know, when they do seem to knock the ball around quickly and move it quickly, particularly through their midfield, they can actually find some pockets of space and get it to those dangerous forwards. It's just not often enough.
There's so much pace in this Canberra FC side, though, Dean. When do they actually start to shove players on and go, let's take a chance and a risk here? Is 60 minutes, 65?
In terms of Belconnen, well, it'll be interesting to see what exactly they do in terms of reshuffling. But I'd be certainly looking to get Marty Rains onto the park as soon as possible. You know, he's someone who can hold the ball up. He can also, you know, run and here we go. They got him behind.
And they're going to win themselves a corner again.
But I'd be looking to get him on. I'd be getting him on in the next 15 minutes.
And they may as well go for broke eventually.
They're going to have
a cup semi-final. A reasonable crowd in now, Dean. Quite a few in the stand that we're in.
Absolutely. It's an unusually beautiful night.
Wells swings this one in, and the header is won.
Oh.
But I think Gerbischer was back there defending.
Phil Bourget has got an amazing leap.
It's a nice night, Dean, I was going to say, but there's some Canberra FC women's soccer players turn up for their training session. They're still wearing shorts. I'm not sure it's that nice. The corner comes in, bounces in the area, and that's a good piece of defending by Kier. Left-footed drive from Makor, but that's always going over the crossbar. I don't think I'll be wearing shorts, would you?
No. Not in the middle of June. Not in June, mate. No chance.
June in Canberra. It's not shorts weather by any stretch of the imagination. Well, Makor was always leaning back there, unfortunately, and he's skied that one almost over the crossbar.
Just wondering if would have been a better option for him to maybe knock it back into the mixer.
Yeah, I think he saw the whites of the goalpost and decided that he'd have a pop, and why not? Free kick. Ian Graham fouled in midfield by Makor.
Look, you know, Belconnen are hanging in there.
Kier goes early, finds James in the channel.
Yeah, great defending.
Yeah. Both at the same time. There's Mirages. Here he is again, wins it again. Chance for Ugrinik. No one ahead of him. Now Barac has made the run, and he's going to get in away here from Subasic. Across comes Subasic to make the tackle, and it's a cracking tackle too by the defender. Graham. Brunskill. Pavlak, nice touch. James. Flag stays down. Thomas James racing away here. Looked to be close to offside, and he thought he was as well. And that's why he stopped.
Yeah, it was a clanger from Alex. It was
I think he looked a couple of yards offside, didn't he?
A couple of yards.
And James knew it as well, and that's why he stopped, and he got away.
Yeah.
Didn't look a difficult one, did it?
No, it didn't, Russ. But what we see, Russ, and sometimes what these officials see,
we have a slightly higher vantage point than Alex McConaughey.
Here we go, 2v1.
His Barac.
Just move it quicker.
Nice back heel, finds Ugrinik. He's got Wells making a run ahead of him. Chooses the option to switch it to Whittier, which isn't a bad one. Bit of space for Sam Whittier.
Do this. If Belconnen can shift here quickly, they can maybe get 2v1s here.
Is Whittier into Ugrinik. She goes down under the challenge, no foul.
Just great defending from Matty Gerbischer.
Once again.
Seasoned campaigner.
Pavlak. James made the run again this time. He wasn't released, and he was only 5 metres offside that time. Clements. Ugrinik. Getting on the ball more in this second half. Whittier finds Wells. Looking to conduct the Belconnen orchestra. Out wide to Whittier again. Swings it into the penalty area, but there's no blue shirt near that, and it'll harmlessly go out of play. Right down by the corner flag for a throw-in.
It's a great ball by Woody. We just need those numbers into the box.
I think Marty Raines is about to come on, Dean.
He must have got the memo.
You sent a quick text, didn't you? Interesting to see who he does come on for, and in fact it's going to be Jason Ugrinik who's pulled off for Marty Raines. Not been his best evening, the youngster.
No, a little disappointing. Probably the right move. Certainly with Marty on here, it'll be interesting to see how what sort of effect he has on the game.
The throw in to Canberra FC, right down by the corner flag. So Marty Raines, we saw him put in a good shift on the weekend, and we know he can run, and he scored a goal on the weekend and took it very well.
I had Marty play for me in our grand final season of 2014, and he was superb.
Well, they'll be looking for something from him today. Here's James. Belconnen win it back though. Miragis. Maycor. Wells. Tries to force the pass through. Raines' first touch. Nice one to Barac. But it's a good piece of defending by Subasic again, who stood strong for most of the afternoon. 35 minutes to play here at Deakin Stadium. Still 1-0. Early goal from Danning. Maycor swings it into the penalty area. Up there was Whittier challenging, and Costanzo brings it away to James. Gets it back again, but Belconnen win it back this time, and it's FC's turn to give away some cheap possession. Good little spell this for Belconnen. Best spell they probably had, concerted pressure in the game. Here's Raines again. Off he goes infield, looking for Barac. He's had an immediate effect. Dancing feet of Daniel Barac, can't force his way past Subasic. Raines sweeps that one into the penalty area, and Brown is under it with no pressure, and he immediately gets us underway to Thomas James. Only one red shirt up with him, and 6 blue shirts back. Doesn't stop James though, who just cuts infield and then gives it away. Just have a question for you, Dean. Still doing the Dockeroos stuff this year? I am, Russ. We leave for a tournament in Prague, which is the 29th of June. So that's going to be hard to take. The Dockeroos, for those who don't know, is that the Australian medical football team? Is that that's right, the Australian medical football team. So I've been fortunate enough to get the gig again. And the World Cup in Prague. And they're playing. Who have you got in the group? We don't know. So the actual groupings get drawn out on the Saturday before the tournament. So we don't know. But the tournament's got quite large. It's quite a lot larger than when I was involved with the last time. 24 countries. Okay. Yeah. And Prague would be a tough gig this time of year. Yeah, there's worse places. Apparently next year it's Cancun, Mexico. Oh, that'll be tricky when you want to keep your job then, mate. Try and get through the group stage. We'll keep an eye on that from afar.
I'll send you a postcard, mate.
from Prague and Cancun. Yeah. Maybe we can get Bar TV to come and cover that in Prague. We'll have a word. We're here at Deakin watching FFA Cup semi-final football. It's still 1-0. Here's Sibicic bringing it away. James has made the run. Looks offside again. This time the flag would have gone up, I think.
Alex saw that one. That's his time.
I think we may be being a bit harsh on him, but if you watch that replay, there was someone on the far side playing him on. Here's Reigns. Miragis. Both substitutes have made an impression since they've come on.
A massive impact.
And that's a lovely ball from Reigns, looking for Whittier, who's going to get on the end of this. First touch wasn't quite what he wanted, but he's going to recover and swing it into the penalty area. Reigns is on the far post, tries to bring it down, falls for Mako, but well intercepted by Keir, and he rakes the ball forward looking for Danning. It's 2-on-2 here. James is completely unmarked in the middle. If Danning can find it, here's Thomas James, and that's 2-0. Never in doubt from the English striker in the form that he's in. As soon as it came across, Thomas James wasn't going to miss from there. Clinical finish, FC 2 up.
What an amazing ball by Ryan Keir. That was one of the quickest transitions that I've seen in a long time in the local Premier League. A sweeping ball from Ryan, Kofi Danning has then squared a lovely ball and to Thomas James, and a quality finish.
In the form that he's in, you never thought he was going to miss it, did you? He just waited for the goalkeeper to dive and clipped it over him. A super finish from FC's main striker, his 12th of the season in all competitions, and it's a long way back from Belconnen from here.
I think so. We were just saying that Belconnen looked like they were coming back into it, and within a split second, bang. And that's what Canberra FC can do to you.
Goals from Danning and James. Danning creating the second one, and you forget sometimes that Kofi Danning had an A-League career as well, don't you? And he's still a really quality player, and that ball was inch perfect.
Look, he is a quality player, and again, he may not have had the impact that he's having this season as he did, say, last year, but certainly this year, Paolo and Danny seem to be getting the best out of him, like they are with a number of players.
Well, he scored 4 goals, Danning, this season, 3 in the league and 1 in the cup. Here's Pavlak. Swings that one forward looking for Danning. James is after this again. Here's the pace of Thomas James. He's got away from Miragis. He's flying at the moment, James.
He's almost unplayable. Messi-like.
He's having the best season he's had in Canberra, I think, and that's saying a lot because he's always been amongst the goals. Just seems to thrive on the atmosphere here at Deakin Stadium. Here's Graham.
They just seem so very well balanced, a very experienced outfit, and as you say, you've got someone like Kofi Danning, Ryan Keir, Ian Graham, Matty Goodbisher, a lot of experience, a lot of quality across the park.
And they've signed Jeremy Habtemariam from Canberra Olympic as well to bolster those ranks too, and he'll make his debut in a few weeks' time when the transfer window officially opens.
Yeah, absolutely.
Saw him in Canberra FC gear today, and another quality player to add to their squad.
It's looking very much like it's Canberra FC's FFA Cup to lose, and maybe the championship as well.
Well, they're certainly halfway to the final. Belconnen United will obviously have a big say in that next week. An FFA Cup Grand Final. There's still half an hour or so to go here, so there's still time for Belconnen, but you have to feel they've got to score next if they're going to get back into this one. Goodbisher. Pavlak, an uncharacteristic error from him as well. And Miragis will jog across to take the throw. The sheer pace of James got him away there for that second goal there. He made that run. He was 70 or 80 metres to get up in support. And as you say, fantastic ball from Keir. The vision and the ability to play it. And here they go again. Here's James. Keir. James just spins on a sixpence and off he goes. Ball glued to his feet.
He's just putting on a show at the moment, Russ. He's just doing whatever he likes out there.
Costanzo, Waters and Danning. Everyone in a red shirt wants a piece of this so far. Graham. And Gerbischer. And as they have done most of the night, happy to go back to Brown. Miragis should win this one. He's misjudged it again. I'm not sure if it's coming out the lights. It's going to be rescued by the flag for offside by Pavlak, but he's misjudged 3 now, the young defender. Maybe it's this floodlight on the far side here.
Yeah, look, I think it's not his natural position, Russ. I think that, you know, at the moment, because of a few key injuries to Belconnen, you know, they've had to play maybe a couple of players out of position. But, you know, he's going to be a better player for the experience tonight.
We're going to have another reshuffle in the Canberra FC lineup because Ivan Pavlak, who's going to slowly trudge his way off the field, is going to be replaced by Marko Vrkic. Did I pronounce that wrong, right?
You did. Yes, you did. Vrkic, yes. Belconnen are going to need some of their experienced players just to lift some of these boys because I'm just looking at like a little bit of body language out there and it's not looking positive.
We'll see what they're going to do with Vrkic. He's slotted into the middle of the park at the moment. Naturally a defensive player, but got a bit of quality about him going forward as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Maybe he's sliding in straight away. Wells concedes a free kick. Don't know if you can pick up the singing on the microphones. They probably can. Bit of atmosphere to our left. The boys having a sing-song and enjoying one or two refreshments. Wells goes short. Maycourt swings it towards the far post. Out comes Brown, and a good fist to the ball too. Needed to be. James picks up the loose ball. Thought about a quick counter again. Decided against it in the end. Here he is. James looking for the run of Waters. Durak's come. And that one's out of the ground over our heads. Into the trees where the old stadium used to be, at Deakin Stadium.
It's where I used to play, Russ. My very unglorious career. Oh, you had a match there as well.
I did. I scored my first goal in Canberra on that page.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. You'll be incredibly surprised to know it was from 2 yards.
So you're not going to go through all 10 goals that you've scored, have you, mate?
All 10. In that one match.
Oh, in that one match.
2 yards was about my range.
Oh, really?
None of these ones like TJ was scoring with that incredible volley against Belconnen at McKellar. Outstanding goal.
It was.
And he's carried on today with another quality finish. Teed up by Kofi Danning. Was enjoying his time at Canberra FC, I think.
Certainly we're seeing the best of him this year. And again, it goes down to the coaches and, you know, the committee and what they've done here at Canberra FC this season.
Well, they shows no sign of slowing down at the moment. They've only dropped points in one game this season, the 2-2 draw with Tuggeranong on the weekend. They were pushed here, though, like I said earlier, by ANU of the Capital League in a cup tie, and only won 4-2 after extra time. So they are vulnerable if you can get at them. Oh, yeah, but the big difference is that they're not losing those games, though. So they're riding those tough times, and which you need to do to be a championship-winning side. I'm thinking that Matty Goodbisher was a massive acquisition for them. I know the 4 years that I had with him at Belconnen, he made such a massive impact, not only on the field but off the field. And he certainly looks quality again this evening. And it's a throw-in. He lifts teams, and I think that he's the rock of this particular side. Everyone just plays around him. Vrkic and Kier swapping passes. Here's Gerbischer, who we were just talking about, and Costanzo next to him. Waters. Danning's in sharpest on the loose ball, as he has been for most of the evening. Wells is tracking him, though. Two players with A-League experience there. Yeah, I remember coaching Kofi when he first went into Premier League as a 15-year-old at O'Connor Knights, and he was a star then. Chance for Belconnen. Balac into the area, goes down under the challenge. Oh, he had the whistle in his mouth. He did briefly for a moment. Brunekal thought about it and then decided against it. Nice to see Balac getting into those areas, though, for Belconnen. If they're going to get back into the game, they need him to be firing. It's not insurmountable. 2-0 certainly, a score that they can get back into it, but they just need to do it relatively soon. James has gone down clutching his ankle. Free kick to the Reds. With halfway through the second half, live FFA Cup football here with Cap from Capital Football and Bar TV. Deakin Stadium on a 2-0 scoreline to Canberra FC. Kofi Danning and Thomas James with the goals.
I think Belconnen are going to need Dusty and Danny Bardach to hopefully get onto the ball and get them out of this.
If they're going to find a way back, it's going to have to be soon. And Mukewski forces it wide to Whittier. Mukewski again. It's been quieter in the second half. Yeah. Bardach and Whittier. Bourgeot comes in field. Williams. Maycool. Now Wells. Better period of possession. Not really going anywhere at the moment, though, is Williams.
Need to get it forward, though, Russ.
Rains looking to provide that option with the turn. Bourgeot. Now Wells. Just a little drop of the shoulder and a bit of an acceleration from Wells. Good ball into the area, but Rains isn't going to get there. It was Whittier who spun it across, and as has happened, unfortunately, on too many occasions for them, the final pass has been not quite there.
Yeah, look, Woody's knocked a couple of great balls in the area. It's just there's just not enough blue shirts in there. He's got one target.
And they need to get more forwards in this final 20 minutes if they're to overturn this 2-goal deficit. Otherwise, it will be Canberra FC who will march on to the FFA Cup final against Gungahlin United. For a club the size of Canberra FC, they've never been in the national stage of the FFA Cup since it started, and that's something they want to rectify, and they're on the way to doing it at the moment. Here's Kia.
I think Paolo Maycoul made it very clear that this was the #1 target for the season.
I've had these conversations over the past couple of years in FFA Cup finals when I've called games, Dean, and it's becoming the biggest competition in Australia, isn't it? It's even bigger than the NPL for these clubs now.
Absolutely. You get to showcase yourself on a national. That's a great little run from Danny Bardach. He's come in and then come away, and he's seen it. Phil's seen it, knocked a nice ball over the top.
You get to showcase yourself, you were saying, on the national stage.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely right. And, everyone saw what great defending, what Canberra Olympic did. And, there is just so many, part-time clubs, amateur clubs that want to replicate that run.
And we've seen amateur clubs beat A-League clubs in the competition proper as well. And they've had their 15 minutes of fame and enjoyed it as well.
Well, I think what you find is that those A-League clubs are in their pre-season, so they are vulnerable.
Especially in the round of 32. As you go longer into the competition, it becomes a lot harder to win. Here's Danning looking to bounce him away into the penalty area. Out comes Durack, who does very, very well. Danning goes down in a heap. But yeah, it gets a lot harder as they get into their pre-season, doesn't it, later in the competition to actually get a result.
Yeah.
But at least with the way that the FFA structure it, you do get an amateur team in the semi-finals. So the dream's alive. A long way to go before we start talking about that, though. Especially for FC. Even longer for Belconnen at the moment. Here's Mukewski. Wells. Onto the right foot. Good ball for Bardach. Brings it down. Shooting chance perhaps for Daniel Bardach. Gets it onto the right foot. It's deflected, and Brown has to be down sharpish.
Yeah.
The pace taken out of it, unfortunately, for Bardach.
It was a lovely vision by Dusty, and Danny Bardach has done ever so well. But again, Matty Goodbusher just...
Well, James is away from his marker here, Dean, and he's advancing in towards the penalty area. Here's Thomas James, and that's a good challenge from Clements. Someone went down on the right. Was it Bourgeot?
It's Phil.
Clutching his shoulder again.
Phil Bourgeot has a history of shoulder injuries, and this looks very much like it's a serious one.
Doesn't look good for him, does he? He just seemed to go down when James went past him. That maybe they were coming together, and completely accidental from that point of view, but it doesn't look good for Phil Bourgeot.
Yeah.
We're going to have to see either Sam Haptamarian or Daniel Sparrow, it would seem. And that would preempt another reshuffle, unless you just went with 3 at the back at this stage and just threw caution to the wind.
I think it may be a little bit too early. I'm just not sure where Daniel Sparrow will go. It's just an unfortunate incident, an innocuous incident for Phil. And let's just hope he's okay and he manages to stay on the park, because Belconnen need him right now if they've got any chance of coming back into the game.
Yeah, like you say, he's been bedeviled by injuries over the course of the last couple of years. Classy defender as well, as we've seen.
He is as tough as they come, Russ. Like I've seen that. I've seen Phil play with a crack in his ankle or his shoulder taped up because it's hanging out out of the socket of his shoulder.
But he's not going to be able to carry on here. Let's hope it's it's not a dislocation and maybe just a tweak. Because that's sad news for Phil Bourgeot. It's going to be Sam Habtemariam, I believe. Seems to be taking the tracksuit off.
I suspect then that Adrian will slot into right back. Adrian Maker will slot into right back, and young Habtemariam will go into midfield.
Seems how old I am. I had Sam Habtemariam as a work experience student when I was at Capital Football. Seems such a long time ago. Now he's out here. FFA Cup semi-final stage for the young man. Brunskill.
Well, it's just another opportunity for a young player on a fantastic evening like this against a quality opposition. So, you know, Belconnen may not get the result. It's still 16 minutes, a little bit too early to sort of call it at this stage. But these young players may very well be the future of Belconnen.
Habtemariam will jog on, take his position in a more advanced role than what Bourgeot played, and Mirages will take the throw-in.
I think you're right. Russ, they're going to go 3 at the back.
I think it's just they may as well go for it. May as well lose 3 or 4 than the 2. Free kick awarded. Subasic looking for James to go early. Tries to drop it in behind Clements. James is going to get in here, and that's a good piece of defending from Clements just to ease him off the ball. Mirages. Barach. Mirages again. Habtemariam makes a run. Good run too. Flag goes up though against the young forwards.
A couple of 16-year-olds dazzling down that left-hand side. It's very nice to see from my perspective, Russ.
Plenty of options for you. Is Thomas James 16?
I only wish. Trust me, I double-checked.
There's been a few rumours going around town that he's going to get some trials with Newcastle Jets or someone of that ilk, so good luck to him if that happens.
Well, I think with media the way that it is, you can send a YouTube video around the world very easily, and so there's no doubt that people who are probably better football mind than mine would see it and go, yep, I'd like to give this guy an opportunity.
Well, it's his goal that's made it a mountain to climb for Belconnen at the moment. Into the final 15 minutes, 2-0 to FC. Live on Bar TV Sports as the revelry continues to our left. Wells, Mirages, Habtemariam, punched forward by Subasic. Ball into the air and a good challenge from, I think that's Barach, who goes down. Tries to win his team a corner. Let's see what the decision is, and they get a corner. Opportunity to send everybody forwards. Everyone has gone forward. Finchurek's calling some of them back.
Well,
it's a bit too early to chuck the cavalry up there.
He might have been able to do that 5 or 10 minutes ago when Thomas James scored. Well, they certainly didn't have enough cover when they broke very quickly for the second goal.
Wells will take the corner.
But I'm certainly looking at this Belconnen side, and it's very young. And, you know, young Harry, Lucas, Samuel, he's...
It's half a chance on the near post. Habtemariam has picked it up. Returned it into the penalty, and Graham clears it. Now here's James on his own against 2 blue shirts. Lays it off to Keir. Flooding forward now is James, and Danning's with him as well.
Just have a look
Waters on the far post. 4 against 4 briefly. James into the penalty area. Waters arriving! And the header just off target, and another lightning fast break from Canberra FC.
It's a fantastic counter-attack, and you can just see the numbers going forward on the left-hand side as Thomas James breaks on the right-hand side.
We're going to see more and more of that, I think, in the next 10 minutes or so as Belconnen search for a way back into the cup tie. Gerbischer. Happy to send that one back where it came from. It's been a pretty entertaining match that we've watched in, and Belconnen haven't given it up just yet.
No, the one thing about Belconnen is that they'll fight right through to the very end.
Mukevski. He's one that won't give up. Clements. Rains.
So it's just unfortunate. That's not exactly where you want Marty to be picking the ball up. You want it in the front third.
Here he is again. Wins himself a free kick. Clements from Williams. Miragis. Barat should run into the pocket of space. Didn't find him though. Maycor. Williams has it at the back again. Maycor. And he's overhit that one, and that comes to nothing. So no options left on the bench, of course, for Yuli De Silva. All three been made now as well. If they are to come back into this match, the 11 on the field will have to do the job. Graham.
Well, they certainly need some magic from a couple of their experienced players now. It's just...
Wells, can he provide something? Clips the ball at the top, looking for Habtemariam. Habtemariam in here, and Barrett almost got on the end of it. The first touch just let him down, Samuel Habtemariam. But there was a bit of quality from Dustin Wells.
Oh, absolutely. And that's exactly the magic I was talking about. You know, he's just able to find a pass, and here he is on the ball again.
Can't quite force that one through to Habtemariam, but was caught in the process, so wins his team a free kick.
Yeah, it's a pity that Sammy, it was just a poor touch, but you know, there's Dusty again, just finding passes, picking them up at will.
Looking for Rains on this occasion, and that's bounced off of Rains. Good defending by Brunskill. He's been around a bit. Seen many a cup triumph and league triumph here at this venue. Many as captain as well.
He's a stalwart of the club.
Habtemariam.
Very loyal.
Maycor lost out to Kier. Verkic.
Go again. Come on out.
Looking for Danning. He's not quite played that ball with the precision that Ryan Kier did a few moments ago. Clements. Miragis. Clements again. Rolls it to Williams. Looking for the run in behind of Barach again, who's been a willing runner for most of the evening. It forced for Wells. A little turn of pace that we see on occasions from Dustin Wells. Ghosting past Marquez. Kier. James tries to hold his run.
You just wouldn't think Dusty's 35. You know, he just plays the game like a young man and loves the game.
Miragis tried to play that one through. He's got that turn of pace, doesn't he? He takes a defender on, you think you got him covered, and all of a sudden, boom, he's gone, even at 35.
He's an amazing player, and you know, certainly in the 4 years that I had him at Belconnen, he was just a joy to watch play on a weekend, but also train. I was just amazed at how much he loves the game. Another substitution. I'm not quite sure who that is, Russ.
Can't quite see. We changed the team sheet on us at the last minute, so yeah. Not entirely sure. I'm sure we'll get a loudspeaker announcement. Here's Rains. We'll clip it forward. It's been picked off by Gerbischer, who finds Danning.
It seems to be a set play where they transition very quickly.
Here's a chance for Waters to finish it off. Good save. Comes back for Waters again, goes down into the challenge. It was a firm one too. Danning picks it up.
You can see that there seems to be a set play where as soon as they win it, they look wide to either Matty Waters or Thomas Jones. They're getting a lot of joy out of that particular play.
McKeskey finds Miragis.
See Danny play. It's just again just holding on to the ball far too long. Danny found some. Danny Barach was in a little bit of space. Unfortunately, Lucas was just unable to find him.
Danny cuts inside, strikes one goalwards, and it drifts away from goal. And Dean, time seems to be running out for Canberra FC right about now.
Yeah, well, certainly Belconnen. I think the better team is deservedly in the lead, but Belconnen will take a lot out of this game, you know, knowing that they've given a number of young players an opportunity.
There's not much time to run. We've got 8 minutes to go. 2-0 here. The party continues.
Yeah, some idiots throwing a beer can onto the pitch at a player.
We don't want to see that. Don't mind a bit of revelry, but it's a beer can on the field. I don't think we got that on the camera, fortunately. Brown will pick it up. Sends it forwards. Belconnen have possession again. Reigns. Stepping away from his marker, finds Mukewski. Here is Goran Mukewski. Looks for Balac. Good defending at the back from Subasic again. Here's Kier. If he can get this forward, James was on his bike again, but Mukewski eased him off it again. Mirages. Reigns taking on his man. Chips it towards the far post, and it's cleared by Canberra FC, and James will run to keep this one in, and does. Good work ethic from the striker, considering his team's 2-0 up and 6 minutes away from being in the final. But he's lost out. Here's Makor, right for colour, but it's not going to come back in, unfortunately, and is away for a goal kick.
Yeah, it was well won by Marty and made the opportunity for young Makor.
Who's been tidy again?
Yeah, Adrian's played quite well tonight. The boys have battled really hard, and again, I think that Belconnen will look back tonight as, while they'll be disappointed with the result, I think they'll be, well pleased with a lot of their young players.
Here's Dunning. Back to the substitute, who's Christian Pradesina. Just changed his shirt number to 12 from 3. Jurek looks to start his team forward again. They've got 6 minutes to find a goal. Hampton Merriam is after this one, and Brown has to come out, and the clearance isn't as far as he would have wanted. It falls for Reigns. Will he try his luck from distance? Set up for him. Wells might. Balac. Shooting chance for Balac. Good scrambling defence again from FC. Falls for Mirages. Rides a physical challenge from Graham, who came sliding in. No holds barred there from the midfielder. Makor.
Young Lucas has done really well there.
To evade that one. Mukewski looks for Hampton Merriam, can't keep it in play. It was a scything challenge there, wasn't it, from Ian Graham?
He's done well to ride it, the young boy. He's made a difference. He's made a big difference when he's come on, Russ.
Yeah, both him and Marty Reigns. Both done a good job since coming on. Haven't quite been able to get their team back into the match, though. Here is Reigns, looking for Balac. Go to Bishop's there again. Looking for Danning.
There's that play again.
Falls for Wells. Wells turning. Mirages. Long distance out. And Graham wins it. It's 2-on-2 at the back, and they're living dangerously, but you can't blame them at this stage.
They need to go for it, Russ.
Mirages is doing that and wins himself a free kick. Nicely done. Foul by Marko Vrkic. 4 minutes to go, plus whatever they add on for stoppages. Won't be too much of it. There'll be a couple of minutes, I guess, because Phil Bordeaux was down for a while. And the substitutions.
Well, I think it's time to throw caution in the wind and just hopefully get it into the mixer and get something here.
Well, they've thrown pretty much everybody forward, and Makor's done exactly that. Swings it in there. Brown wins a two-fisted punch. It's just going to come straight back in again, though. Reigns on the far post. Opportunity was there, and Balac won the header. Maybe been better off to leave it run for Reigns. Didn't get a call. It's always difficult for him backing away from goal.
Yeah, just can't get the pace on it.
And do you think James is going to get some opportunities up here? Here he is. Spins his marker, Thomas James. Declines not to go for goal. Holds it up for Danning. And his touch lets him away. But James is going to hang around up front, I think, and look for a break, and will be one-on-one with Williams for most of the time that's left. Which is not much. 3 minutes and counting between Canberra FC in the final of the FFA Cup against Gungahlin United to find out who the Canberra qualifier will be for the round of 32.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it's going to be Canberra FC.
Well, Danning's won the ball. Looked for Kier, who'd snuck in on the far post, and Clements has defended that well. Reigns. 2 red shirts around him, as there has been for a lot of the game. Any time a Belconnen player is threatened, Mikiewski's there with Simicic. Wins Belconnen a throw. Habtemariam's gone early. Reigns. Nice touch that. Gets him away from Verkic. Looks to slide in Barac, but there, like the Colossus he is Gerbischer, and a sweeping ball away. Finds James, a fantastic pass again, and James just drops his shoulder, heads towards goal. Looks for Kofi Danning. Nice touch from Danning onto the right foot, and Durack has to go low to make the save, and once again the goalkeeper stands firm.
I'm sure Marcel will be watching this this performance by Canberra FC and making sure that he stops that play or does whatever he can to nullify it. Here we go.
Cracking ball from Habtemariam in the initial stages of that move. James's touch, looking to get away from Williams again. He just skips away from him once more, but Williams got a piece of the ball. Did just enough.
Harry will be the beneficiary of playing on TJ tonight. He's going to become more of a accomplished player as a consequence of playing against a quality player like that, and it'll hold him in good stead.
I'm not decrying any of the other strikers in the league, but he's going to have an easier time of it against many of the other ones.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's just a bit of everything, TJ. Pace, power, movement, and goals. And he got the second one this evening. Here's Mirages. Infield to Reigns. Can Belco set up a grandstand finale? Marty Reigns into the air, fires one in, but Brown is safely down and clutches it to his chest as we enter the final 60 seconds of normal time.
Belconnen, to their credit, have not lied down. They've just kept going and trying to find a goal and a way back into the game.
James skips through the challenge, and Danning's there, but the flag is going to go up for a free kick, and the first yellow card goes to Isaac Clements in the 90th minute of the game. I thought we were going to get through the whole match. You can see why he's given that, I guess, as James may have been away. But we nearly win a whole match without a yellow card in Canberra.
Which is unusual for one of these fixtures, Russ.
Well, it's been played in the right spirit, hasn't it? There's been some decent tackles going in, but it's not been nasty. Here's Danning. He's happy to use all of his experience to run that to the corner and just hold the ball up. He got us rolling after 3 minutes today. And Thomas James on the hour with a lightning fast break and a fantastic goal.
Yeah.
One to watch on the videos if you're a coach out there on how to execute a 3-on-3 break with such precision and pace.
Yeah, they're lightning fast. And there's that ball again, that raking, sweeping diagonal.
And James wins his team a corner, and it's at the right end of the field for Canberra FC as we enter stoppage time at the end of the match.
I'm afraid there's no way back for Belconnen at this stage.
Well, it would take a monumental final 90 seconds for them to pull this one around, especially with the ball at that end of the park, with Kofi Danning lining up the corner. 4 red shirts still in the box for this one, which is something of a surprise. Swung towards James at the near post. Shows that they're still keen for goals. Waters. Danning. James. A lethargic swing of the boot, looking for Simicic, should stayed up, and he couldn't quite turn that in. But like all good players, it seems to be done in slow motion sometimes, doesn't it, with some of these Canberra FC boys?
Yeah, well, certainly James makes it look very, very easy. Just got plenty of time. He's just right at the top of his game at the moment.
We'll be back to watch him here on Sunday against Canberra Olympic, and I'm sure Frank Keisha and his squad are watching this with interest, thinking how they're going to find an answer to Canberra FC. They couldn't when they came here in the Cup quarterfinals. Thomas James scored twice, a penalty and a stoppage time finish. They almost did, though. And that game should be an absolute belter on the weekend. You can watch that live here on Bar TV Sports.
Yeah, certainly during my time at Olympic, we looked forward to those fixtures.
Especially here as well. Tended to do really well on this venue.
Yeah, sometimes I think it's an Olympic home ground.
They've got a very good record here, probably one of the best records of any of the Premier League clubs in Canberra.
Oh, they love playing here.
Well, we're into the dying embers of this one, and Canberra FC look like they're going to be playing in the FFA Cup final unless something dramatic happens. Mirage swings that into the area, but Brown easily claims it. Waters, Pratazina, James and Kier. Now James Head down, bounces past one challenge, still going. Thomas James goes past the second into the air. Thomas James on, still going. Thomas James, and he gets lucky with the rebound, but his hard work deserves it. He has a second of the night, a third for Canberra FC, and that is game, set, and match.
Yeah, it's a beautiful goal. Again, he's just left a wake of players on the ground as he's just slalom through, and unselfishly tried to square it up, got the rebound, and got the deserved goal. Quality player.
He tried to find the support of Keir, didn't he, who was making a late run into the area, but it bounced fortunately back into his path, and he almost apologetically rolled it into the net, and it is the last kick of the match, and Thomas James fittingly perhaps has the final word with another fantastic performance. And Dean, you can't really quibble with the result from Canberra FC's point of view.
No, they were clearly the best team on the night. There's no guessing who the man of the match is. Their front three are just the best in Canberra at the moment. They're just hard to contain. It's going to be a very difficult job for Gungahlin.
Questions to be answered, of course, next week when the FFA Cup final, Canberra FC versus Gungahlin United. Questions to be answered on the weekend when we're back here, Canberra FC versus Canberra Olympic in the NPL. As you mentioned, though, Dean, they've got quality everywhere.
Yeah, I can't see a weakness in the side, to be honest with you, Russ. Like they've just got experience and quality all over the park. They've got bookends in Matty Goodbisher, and up the top there with Thomas James, and then they've got a support cast of Kofi Danning, Ivan Pavlak, Michael Tarazi. The list goes on.
Well, thanks very much for your company this evening, Dean. Pleasure to have you up here in the back of the stands here at Deakin Stadium for this FFA Cup semi-final. We were looking to see who would play Gungahlin United in the final. We had our thoughts about who it might be, and it took 3 minutes for Canberra FC to put their hand up. Kofi Danning with one of the easiest goals he'll ever score after great approach work from Brad Waters. Then in the second half, as Belconnen United threatened to come back, a raking pass from Ryan Keir, wonderful 60-yard ball, finding Kofi Danning. His first-time pass finds Thomas James. It's 2-0. And pretty much game over. To their credit, Belconnen didn't give up. They tried their best to get back into the game. A couple of changes, Marty Rains and Lucas Mirages gave them hope, but in stoppage time, Thomas James had the final word, striking home. A lucky ricochet for him, but a deserved second goal. And the noisy party to our left, who enjoyed most of that 90 minutes, can go home happy. For Canberra FC will be in the FFA Cup final next week. The semi-final, final score here at Deakin Stadium. Canberra FC 3, Belconnen United 0.